You know, nothing gets us more excited than a classic muscle car. The problem is, these beauties are often super expensive. But guess what? I've got some awesome news for you. I've put together a list of 10 classic muscle cars that you can still find for under $10,000. Some of these cars might be what you'd expect, and some might surprise you. 10. Chevy Nova. Everyone loves the third-generation Chevy Nova. It's an iconic muscle car. But the fourth-generation Nova is pretty awesome too and deserves classic status. In the mid-70s, these Novas had to meet new environmental standards, adding emissions controls that reduced horsepower to around 170. Even medieval times has more horses, but despite this, the fourth-gen Nova still looks cool. It's perfect for engine swaps, like a 396, 454, or an LS crate motor from Walmart. Though it doesn't match the third gen's reputation, the fourth generation Nova is a hidden gem, and you can get started with just $4,000. 9. Ford Galaxy. The Galaxy was the name for a series of full-sized Fords from 1959 to 1974. The name captured the excitement of the space race and pushed the boundaries of speed and style. The Galaxy was Ford's answer to the Chevy Impala, sparking a race among America's top car makers. This race wasn't for space, but for speed. One of the most popular Galaxy models, the 500XL, boasted a 425 horsepower V8 with a top speed of 135 miles per hour. It went from 0 to 60 in 6.9 seconds and did the quarter mile in 14.9 seconds at 96 miles per hour. You can still find a bunch of Galaxies for less than 10 grand. And I'm not talking about your uncle's rusty project car. You can find these in pretty mint condition. 8. Dodge Polara. The Dodge Polara was Dodge's response to the Ford Galaxy. The 1969 Polara boasted a powerful V8 engine and held the Chrysler test track record for the highest top speed for a factory-built sedan until 1994. Early Polaris, with big bodies, luxury 50s throwbacks, a big chrome front bumper, and Jetson-style taillights aimed to evoke an inner Don Draper vibe. Dodge tried to slim it down, but fans preferred the large, luxurious feel. While it's often left off classic muscle car lists, many Polaras remain in great condition, like the super clean 65 with a 383 V8. 7. Plymouth Duster. The Plymouth Duster is one of the coolest cars named after a jacket. As the sportier version of the Plymouth Valiant, it was designed to compete with tiny cars like the Chevrolet Vega. Despite its small size and the quirky logo, the Duster packed a 340 cubic inch V8 with 275 horsepower, impressive for its size. The Duster's popularity led Dodge to create its version, the Demon, instead of their first choice, the Beaver. The Demon name became iconic for Dodge's high-performance cars. If you can't afford a new Demon, you can still get a classic like a '73 Duster with a V8 for less than $9,000. 6. Chevy Monte Carlo. When Chevy rolled out the Monte Carlo in 1970, it aimed high. Some might liken naming a NASCAR car after an F1 race to naming your kid Ronaldo, who ends up a cowboy. But Chevy had a plan. In the early 80s, Ford's Thunderbird dominated NASCAR with its aerodynamics, dubbed the Aerobird. Then Chevy revamped the Monte Carlo, challenging with Dale Earnhardt Sr. behind the wheel, earning him the title of Intimidator. The consumer Monte Carlo SS sported a 180 horsepower, emissions-regulated 300 F5 engine, yet its boxy fourth-gen body exudes 80s muscle. Picture it with Iraq wheels, a cowl hood, and fat rear tires. It's a looker. This clean one's $10,000, smelling fresh in the ad. While not a classic yet, future classics shift. Smart moves, visionary thinking. 5. Chevy El Camino. The El Camino, based on the Chevrolet Chevelle, is a legendary American car. It combines the Chevelle's muscle car style with the practicality of a small pickup truck. great for burnouts and occasional hauls like picking up a fruit tree. Despite offering the same engine options as the Chevelle, the El Camino is often cheaper, maybe because its design is unique. It's also practical. Fitting a queen-size air mattress in the back is no problem. And up front, you could have a powerful 454 V8, kicking out 450 horsepower. The El Camino meant business, especially in raw power and utility. Chevy kept refining the El Camino through the 80s. They're a personal favorite, often found at reasonable prices. 4. Third-generation Camaro. Welcome to Camaro land, where the third-generation Camaro reigns supreme. Chevy's venture into edgy, boxy designs marked a departure from earlier rounder models, making them as iconic as 80s muscle gets, mullets sold separately. Early emissions rules meant smaller engines, even 4 cylinders, but Chevy upped the ante. By the late 80s, the Z28 and IROC Z boasted a 350 cubic inch V8, pushing 330 horsepower. No manual for the 350s, but they're still wickedly cool. Some insist on classics like Chargers or Trans Ams, but the third-gen Camaro packs 80s muscle at a reasonable price. It's the kind of car you drive to buy someone's kidney. 3. Mercedes E55 AMG. You're right, muscle cars transcend borders, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Enter the Mercedes AMG E55, a modern classic. When it debuted in 2003, it shook the scene with a 5.4-liter supercharged V8, pumping out 469 horsepower and 516 lb-ft of torque, enough to straighten any pretzel. With a 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, it was the fastest sedan of its time, pushing the horsepower envelope when others weren't. It set the stage for today's high-performance cars. Surprisingly, you can snag one in great shape for around 10 grand. 2. Dodge Magnum RT. The Dodge Magnum RT may divide opinions with its unconventional looks, but it's unmistakably Dodge and packs a punch. Despite being your uncle's station wagon, it's far from ordinary. The 2005 RT model boasted a 340 horsepower, 5.7-liter Hemi V8, an iconic Dodge engine. Surprisingly agile for its weight, this big booty wagon earned its stripes as an American fast cruiser. Why is it a classic? In the early 2000s, Dodge wasn't the horsepower titan it is now. The Magnum marked a pivotal moment, paving the way for Dodge's high-performance sedans today. It combined V8 power with everyday practicality. And guess what? You can grab one for around $6,000 today. 1. Ford Mustang. The Mustang is an undeniable icon that transcends debates over muscle or pony cars. It's simply cool. Loved by car enthusiasts and non-car folks alike, it's influenced countless designs like the Supra and Camaro. From James Bond to Steve McQueen and beyond, it's been a star in movies and real life. Surprisingly, you can still find early Mustangs for a steal. They made plenty, and parts are plentiful. AutoZone stocks them. With under $10,000, you can own a piece of American muscle history without breaking the bank. Don't overlook the off years. There are gems waiting to be discovered. If you've found any affordable classics, drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching this episode of The D-List. If you liked it, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. We make a new video almost every day. Learn more about affordable, fast cars in this episode of Wheelhouse. I love you.